that we just holding on to something.
Let's go. Welcome to the Underground Crypto Deep Dive Show. Thank you for being here. Yesterday was a ton of fun. We're going to do it again and again and again. If you want to raise that crypto IQ, you came to the right place. If you want to stay on top of what is going on in the market, you came to the right place. Look at this 4-hour chart I keep showing every day we start the stream here. That 4-hour chart, let's zoom in a little bit. Above that red line is the 200-day moving average. The white line is the 21-day moving average. And the blue line is the smoothed 200-day moving average. And we're getting above that as well at about $66,584. Hope all is well out there. Hope you are enjoying your day, enjoying your week. Let's see, got something going on in the background here. So tell me how you guys are feeling about this market. Are we done? Was the bottom in? How's everybody doing? Kind of roll call. Who's here with me? Shout out Melissa. Link to our free Discord in the chat. I just got to check on something real quick. Wow, this coin that I'm in Pump.Fun is absolutely ripping to the upside here. Let's sell half of it. And now we got our moon bags. All right, let's start the show. So, as you know, welcome to the Underground Crypto Deep Dive Show. This week we are doing the crypto recovery test. On Monday, which was yesterday, we learned the higher prices alone cannot confirm a genuine market recovery. Tonight, we examine one of the most important sources of information: institutional demand. And this goes great with what I'm always saying on crypto rank. Every time we look at it, there's tons of coins and projects coming out around institutional services. I think that is a big deal. So the evidence improved again today. The U.S. Bitcoin spot ETF reportedly attracted approximately 227 million on the 20th, which is actually yesterday, but that's very bullish for today. 5 consecutive days of net inflows. That's what we really need to focus on, right? So 5 consecutive days net inflows for the first time since late April. And that's approximately $727 million entered during the last 5-day run. While Bitcoin reached a 5-week high above 66,000. And like we just said, I think we were at, 68? What are we at right this second? We're at 66,600 basically. Anybody out there, if you can hear the sound of my voice, throw something in the chat. Let me know that you are here. I'm just warming up on the stream here, giving it a little bit more time as I wait for a few people to roll in here. The quote of the day: bull markets are born on pessimism, grow on skepticism, right, and mature on optimism, and then die in euphoria. Again, I like this quote. This quote is really good. Bull markets are born on pessimism, right? They grow through skepticism, and they mature on optimism, and they die in euphoria. Saying when you reach euphoria, good chance that you are at the top or very close. Melissa says she can hear me. All right, just want to make sure everything's good with the mic, make sure everything's good with the music, not too loud and all these things. What you may not know, a Bitcoin ETF inflow does not prove that institutions bought Bitcoin as a long-term investment. So we're talking about not mistaking inflows into the Bitcoin ETF as a long-term investment, right? ETF shares can be purchased by individual investors, financial advisors, hedge funds, pensions, or retirement accounts, proprietary trading firms, market makers, institutions executing hedged strategies. A hedge fund might buy a Bitcoin ETF while simultaneously shorting Bitcoin futures. That position could be designed to capture a pricing difference rather than a bet on Bitcoin rising. That's some real IQ raising event. Somebody's telling me to sell my position here in this coin. Wow, this thing just ripped to 85K, huh? We think it's done? Oh, it already came back down. I already missed it. Dang, that was fast. All right, let me not get too off track here. Let's get over to the crypto bubbles with no delay. And even when I'm live streaming, I still got to kind of watch positions here. I took 50% profits, Prime Minister. So I should be in the good and the clear, right? I definitely not going to lose any money, and I definitely made a little bit. So we'll see where that thing can go. Do you think... Well, I guess I won't ask you. I think that thing can still keep going. Let me move you guys over so you can see what I'm looking at. Those crypto bubbles where we usually start keeping a pulse on the market here. Night, right, on the Cardano ecosystem. Night is up 30%. We got Lighter, Rain, Toncoin, VVV, Aave, Ondo, Hash. Everything doing pretty well here. 1.7. One of the best categories, 1 through 100 here. Now we're looking at the 1 through 1,000. We got a 1.9 at 8 to 900, 1.8 at 500 to 600. It's safe play. Dev locked in for 10 years. Let's go. If I wasn't streaming, I'd probably add to my position now that we dipped real hard. Or I should say if we dip harder. All right, let's go to 100 to 200 here. The XE on a big pullback. And it's only 81% on the day, but it's a decent pullback right here. Wow. This is giving me some meme core vibes, some lab protocol vibes. What happened? It was as high as $48, and now it is $6. Who saw this coming? Is anything safe? Welcome, CCP, says Moon. Yeah. Sorry, I'm reading something in the background. I should not do that. DXC. But we have Genius, 1 inch. We got this Talus Network. They're all doing pretty well. Undead Games. We've looked at this several times. Looks like it's dropped pretty hard, about 17%. I'm still curious what happened to DXC. I wonder if there's any news around this. Because, man, this thing fell hard. From $45 to $6. I mean, if it gets a recovery here, that would be pretty amazing. But that is... check what bank did. Are you talking about like in the bankroll? Camsto, what do you... oh, you talking about Bank the Coin. Okay. I don't know why I immediately thought you were talking about bankroll in our Discord. Let's look it up. You're talking about Banker Coin, right? Which bank? Because you have actual bank ticker, which is Lorenzo Protocol. It's down 25%. And then you have Banker Coin, which I feel like is a little bit more exciting. Maybe that's what you meant. You have to tell me what coin you were really interested in there. Let's drop down another 100. No category really up that high. 1.9 is pretty good. Riff, Cash Cat, what is it down to? 64 mil. Bank, this maybe is the one you're talking about, Lorenzo Protocol. It went from 32 cents to 19 cents. Bank Coin. I'm assuming you're talking about Lorenzo Protocol. Here, I'll look it up on CoinGecko here. I don't think you're talking about that meme coin there. Here, I just want to see what this did. Where are we at here? Oh, that's still the wrong one. Dang, a lot of people buying and selling there. All right. So, Bitcoin, $66,600. Actually, let's refresh it. Make sure we have the latest numbers. All right. $66,677. Overall market cap, 2.34 trillion, up 1.5%. Yeah, the first one. Yeah, it dropped hard. Did you see what happened to DXE, though? I just want to show this again because I thought... I've never bought it. I don't really know a lot about it, but it had been pumping. It had been doing really well. And it just, like, I can't believe how hard this thing fell. Like, from $45. Can you imagine you bought some, you're up, you know, say you bought even around, like, you know, $10, $12, $14, and it's up to $45. And the next thing you know, it's worth $7. That's some crypto for you. And that's the type of thing that should remind you why a lot of people stay in the top 20, top 30 cryptos, is because crazy things can happen out here when you're speculating. So Ethereum, $1,939. BNB $574, XRP $1.15. It's up 3% on the 7-day. Solana $78.51. Tron Coin 32 cents. Hyperliquid $61.12. Hopefully Hyperliquid doesn't catch any heavy falls like that, but they've been making crazy money off of revenue, so I don't think they're going to let that happen. Let's see, 7 cents for Dogecoin. They got a reputation to uphold, Hyperliquid does. Yeah, I heard about it. Lifer was big on DEXY. Yeah, I'm not sure how much he actually held much of it. I think that they were just, and I'm not trying to defend him because I don't really know what his position was on it, what he held. I don't really know. But, yeah, I think that they were just watching it because it had been so hot, and it had been really hot. It was really high up in the overall market cap list here. It won't be anymore, right? Zcash, $536. Monero, $361, up 8%. XLM, 19 cents, up 4%. I'm surprised XLM hasn't run harder on the speculation around it, but I also feel like not many people, and don't get me wrong, it is pumping a little bit, but not a lot of people really know the fact that XLM is being utilized in some pretty big stuff. Chainlink, $8.71. Cardano, 17 cents. Canton Network, almost 12.5 cents. Let's keep going down. Toncoin, $8.53. USDG, Robinhood's stablecoin. Saw that MetaMask had launched their own USD coin. That's interesting. Probably happened a little bit ago. Should have gave us some as an airdrop. That would have been nice. SWE, 77 cents. SWE still pumping. I told you SWE under $1. I like that a lot. Avalanche, $6.60. Does Avalanche have a future? Prime Minister, you have any opinion on Avalanche? I don't know why. I feel like you would maybe have watched Avalanche over the years here. What do you think of Avalanche? I think it's cooked. But I've seen so many things come back from nothing that who knows. Memecore actually holding up pretty nice after it had such volatility. Kamsta says it's just a long line of coins that all do that. They look insanely bullish and then just get destroyed. That's part of the game, I guess. Yes, exactly. It's exactly what you just said. It's part of the game. That's why you don't want to get overly bullish on something, get overly leveraged. I mean, the thing was up huge. It really was up big. So you got to kind of keep that in mind here. Here, let's pull it real quick. Let's pull up DXY. And just get let's just get an idea on DXY real quick. How fast it had pumped. So like again, Euphoria tell you a lot of times that you might want to take some profits or understand it could come down on you. October 11th, 2020. Look at this. On February 3rd, 2026. Sorry, I said 2020. Why did I say that? Oh, it is October 11th, 2020. So yeah, this thing has been around for a long time. It was literally at a low of like $2.64 on February 15th, 2026. And we will just kind of highlight this region here. I love that they kind of let you do that. And then we topped out, it looks like, at about $47.84 on July 12th, 2026. That's Euphoria. You go from like $2, $3, $4 to like 48 bucks that fast. Somebody owned a big bag of it and they were like, you know what? I'm going to buy a new house. And there you go. They sold. Sometimes it is as simple as that. Sometimes it literally is that simple. Somebody sold off hard. Strega Heart, what's up? Welcome. Hey, you won yesterday. You won 10 bucks. Don't forget that. Make sure to message me in direct message on Discord, and I'll get you paid like I've done for you before. And remember, it doesn't expire or anything like that. So if for whatever reason you're busy and it takes you a couple of days or whatever amount of time, it'll be there for you. All right, let's take a look at what's trending here. We have Caldera. I feel like this has been around a while. Maybe not. But in the last 7 days, it's pumped up big. It looks like it's flagging out. The XC, we got Pawns. which has no 7-day percentage here, so that tells me that's newer. So we got a few things to look at on CoinGecko. Pudgy Penguins, again, probably the best NFT project in the game. Second, maybe Bored Ape Yacht Club. I can't even think of a third. That's how bad the NFT game is right now. Ondo, Bitcoin, XRP, Move. This, I believe, is the Move Foundation. We talked about this around SWE. Hyperliquid, Dennis Token, Solana, Zcash, Pump.Fun, BitTensor, and Pi Network. And speaking of like movement and the whole thing we did on SWE, an object-based blockchain, I think SWE has potential to really run and do really well. And we've seen so many things go low and then return with a lot of momentum once the market picks up. So I'm hoping that's what happens for SWE. That's hilarious. I'm going to go with 2. CCP, the number's 2. I'm sure of it. 15 million market cap. Max supply. 1 billion. Ethereum contract, BNB base Arbitrum contracts here for ERA. Roll up as a service, or ROS. Cross-chain communication, Binance holders, hodlers, airdrop. So it's got some Binance, platform connection, cross-chain communication. I don't really see anything amazing here. I don't know why this is trending. But things like this, they trend, and then the next thing you know, it has a nice pump tomorrow. I've seen that many, many times. Pawns. Let's check out Pawns. All right. This thing went from token generation event, July 14th, 2026, at about 34 million. Looks like it would serve us a lot better to put this thing in market cap. So 20 million, 6 million, 8 million, and then just pop to 30. Okay. But what is it? A billion max supply. It's a Robinhood coin. Pawns family. Is it a meme? Oh, snap. We got a launch pad. Prime Minister, where you at? I mean, there's Robinhood coins on Pump.Fun, but we got a launch pad over here. Does that mean it'll actually do anything? No. But we'll see what happens. We got YOLO. YOLO's got 7 million on here. Pawns with $42 million market cap. Nice. Output says utility driven bull market incoming. Let's go HBAR. Hey, I hold some wait, no, I don't. I used to hold some HBAR. I don't hold it anymore. But hey, I'm bullish on HBAR. I still do have a bag at Algorand. I know a lot of times people connect those. They put them in the same family. Pawnsfamily.com /launchpad. Robinhood launchpad. I see why it's trending, and now I understand why I was seeing a bunch of Pump.Fun coins that have pawns in it. And movement. Let's check out why this is running. 44, and it's not actually running. I mean trending. Ethereum Move is its own layer 1. At least I think it's a layer 1. Yep, layer 1, zero knowledge modular blockchain. USA based native. All right, let's move along. Let's take a look at that Fear and Greed Index, because it is actually up and doing well for today. The Fear and Greed Index is at 33. Yesterday was 25. So like I said, I always keep that number in the back of my head. Things are heating up. I start to kind of get a little bit nervous. We get to like 33 and I'm like, all right, are we going to have a major pullback, or do we pump another week and then have a major pullback? I basically just don't want to see this thing quickly jump over the yellow, right, and into the green too fast. We don't want to pump too fast. It's not sustainable if we pump too fast. Let's take a look at trending coins here. But before we do that, let me tell you a little story. Let's go ahead and kick off, right? So we're talking about institutions are buying. This is a great intro, in my opinion, to what we are going to be doing over on Crypto Rank as we do, because watch the narrative, watch the institutional services that a lot of these products are building They're not doing it, in my opinion. This is purely speculation, but I just don't think these people are launching these projects geared towards service, whether it's security or running a node or, combing the explorers or the blockchain for fraudulent things going on for institutions, right? So institutions are going to hire these people as they get into crypto. They need people who they feel like are good at cryptocurrency, that know what they're talking about, blockchain technology, I should say. They're not going to get the lady at the front desk to run their Ethereum node, right? And so that really sets up what I've been saying for a while. Now we're going to talk about where we are now in the market, and institutions, are they buying, right? And that becomes an easy headline, right? You see it with the ETF stuff all the time. And the phrase institutions are buying Bitcoin carries enormous emotional power. Don't forget that narrative, institutions and the Bitcoin ETFs, is what kind of started the bull run early for Bitcoin. Could be responsible for all the weird stuff that we saw also. That could just be quantitative tightening instead of quantitative easing. It suggests... Melissa says, please don't forget to slap the crap out of that like button. I second that. Smash that like button, and there's a free Discord in the chat there pinned. So the phrase institutions are buying, right? It suggests that a sophisticated, right, investor knows something the public does not know. Retail investors hear that and assume Bitcoin must be undervalued, or that it's a go, right? It's going to pump. I don't even know if retail really connects the dots of undervalue, overvalue. They probably just think, oh, it's going to rally, so they buy. Yeah, that or a major rally is inevitable, exactly. But that headline can be created by a positive ETF day. That's all it takes, right? You see a couple 100 million flow in, not consecutive days, right? Not a trend, just a big day of inflow. One corporate announces, or one large fund carries this entire category. We saw this recently with BlackRock buying a lot of the Bitcoin ETF, not a BTF, right? But nobody else was really buying at that time. It was just BlackRock, right? That's what we're saying. Sometimes one fund will carry the entire narrative there. So the headline may be technically true while presenting an incomplete picture, and that's how they get you, right? That's how they fudge you. That's how they FOMO you. That's how news cycles work. We got to separate access, activity, and accumulation. Who's ready to raise that crypto IQ? So we need to divide institutional involvement into three categories. So this is how we're going to break this down in our minds so we can raise our crypto IQs and become better speculators in the market. Never financial advice. The first one is access. So you have access. Wall Street creates a product or service that allows customers to trade crypto. Activity. Institutions trade ETFs, futures, options, or crypto-related stocks. So we have the access, the gateway, right? Then we have them actually using the gateway, and then we have them accumulation. Institutions consistently increase long-term net exposure to the underlying asset. It means they keep buying and not selling. These are interchangeable. They're not interchangeable. That's what I mean. These are not interchangeable. The bank offering Bitcoin trading proves that customer access is expanding. It does not prove that the bank itself is building a new massive Bitcoin position. The payoff here? Follow persistent net demand. Instead of reacting to one announcement, we evaluate the direction of flows, the size of flows, the duration of the flows, the breadth across funds. That's a weird word most people don't know. Price response, evidence of long-term commitment. Basically, we want to see them accumulate and we want to see them not sell. That's what it mostly is all about. That gives us a much better answer as to whether institutional money is genuinely returning. This is really interesting and important to me about raising our crypto IQ as a community here, because when we see narratives like the institutions have returned, they're buying, we can go and look at the ETF inflows and we can kind of look and see, hey, are they actually consistently, are they like buying for a week or two, letting the price go up and then selling on everybody for a week or two, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. So let's take a look at what's trending over on Crypto Rank. We have this coordinate. Let's take a look at that. Roll down the list. Is a real-time command center for modern financial infrastructure. Interesting. Across fragmented financial systems, the platform ingests signals from payment rails, bank accounts, ledgers, and risk systems, normalizing them into a shared real-time event model. By providing end-to-end visibility across complex multiple partner workflow. So things like banks, fintechs, and digital asset institutions such as Paxo and Bitso. Again, this has to do with institutions at its core, because you got to think that's where a lot of the money comes from. They've raised $8 million so far. We got Augustus. Is a US dollar clearing bank and payment infrastructure for crypto. Infrastructure. You think they built clearing? They built a US dollar clearing bank for retail? No. You think $248 million invested in this project came from retail? No. You understand what I'm trying to say here? You do have an angel investor here who probably put up a lot of money, who is one person, but I wouldn't consider him retail. You don't become an angel investor and just be, dumb money per se. He's graduated. We have Skew. Skew is an institutional perpetual future decentralized exchange built on the Hyperliquid network. Is it me, or is all three of these new projects and funding have some connection to institutions? I have been saying this until I'm blue in the face. It started with, that's weird. We shifted narratives from like a whole bunch of new projects being AI. Again, I'll say it and I'll try to be quick about it. A lot of projects centered towards institutions. And who do you think is funding them? 248 million here, 8 million there, blah, 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 blah. That is venture capitalists, angel investors, and corporational money. And they're not dumb. They're literally called smart money for a reason. Now, that doesn't mean that they never make a mistake or ever lose any money, but they're right a lot more times than they are wrong. Bybit Indonesia was previously Nobi. They've rebranded to Bybit. Or did they get bought by Bybit? Or they were already owned by Bybit. There's really no story here. Nothing to really talk about on that one. Staking rewards. DEX even lower now to $6. Staking rewards is a leading data and analytics platform for crypto staking. Let's see if it has any connection. So, a leading data aggregator and analytic platform dedicated exclusively to the crypto staking industry. Proof of stake ecosystem. So they're very focused around proof of stake. Platform provides comprehensive real-time data on staking yield, validator performance, network security metrics, and reward rates across hundreds of blockchain networks. Here it is. By indexing and standardizing complex on-chain information, the project helps retail investors and institutional players make informed decisions regarding their yield digital assets. So it'll be used by both, but, who do you think has the more money? Money talks. Prime Minister says we ate off of that. Yeah, we did. I think I doubled my money and still kept 50% bag in it. That's beautiful. What's it doing right now? It's at 28. Dev's buying a little bit. I think it's just the same dev, right? Every time. Wow, that thing just ran. It didn't go to zero, and it didn't really rug pull. Looks like it healthily went down. By the way, if you don't know what we're doing, we're over on pump.fun. We've been messing around. If you're into this kind of thing. And, yeah, we just did pretty well on it. Does it tell me? Right now, I'm only up $3-4 and my position's 12, but I just basically took like $25 out of it. Basically, I took all my money back times 1x and left a bag. So if this thing pumps, I could do a lot of explaining. I'm not going to do that right now, right? But just know that I will have to look at it here and there. Rip Cars. What is this? Rip Cars is a Hot Wheel gacha platform. Tell me more. Rip Cars is a Hot Wheel gacha platform where users open digital mystery packs backed by real investors, instantly reveal a collectible, and choose whether to hold it digitally, redeem the physical car, or sell instantly to the blockchain. I'm sorry, what? What do they mean, redeem the physical car? How much are these packs? How do you... What? This has got to be absolute nonsense. They're raising 250K. Yeah, that was a great play, Prime Minister. What are we talking about here? This is hard to take seriously. Oh, okay. I was tripping. When it says redeem the car, in my mind I was thinking a real car. They just mean actually redeem and get the Hot Wheel car that they're giving you. I mean, it's cool. It's cool in the fact that, like, you could have a craze. I think it'd probably be pretty short term. Where there got to be NFTs, right? And they'll be selling like hotcakes. The hope is you get in early before crazy pumps, right? And then you get to buy a bunch of packs, rip them, get something that's good, something super rare, and then it goes into a frenzy, and then you sell off that NFT. If you try to hold it forever, I mean, history shows what happens when you try to hold NFTs long term. It's not very friendly. This is a Bitcoin runes, and it is just down at the bottom. For some reason, it's trending, though. I don't know what that's about. Let's take a look again at our top gainers, top losers here. I feel like the stream is moving along quite fast, which is good because we're going to have a members-only live stream. Don't sleep on that members-only live stream. Something has come up. 2 member live streams in a row. We're definitely doing one today, unless something comes up again, but it shouldn't. All right, so Ondo is... Wait, this is probably needs to be refreshed. No, Ondo is up 12.5%. Ondo has been getting attention again. I love that. I don't know if I'm under or above water on my bag, right? But I do own a little bit of Ondo. Nothing crazy. Anybody out here own any Ondo? Anybody out here own any Venice token? Anybody own any Venice token? Venice token's up 8%. I really wanted to see it dip when we were really pulling back, like something crazy. Now, I don't want to see it do rug pull stuff like DXE did or Lab or that meme core pullback. I don't want to see nothing of that nature, right? But I do want to see it dip a little bit so I can get into it. XMR, but it's got to be a healthy dip, right? Not like a straight down, because DXE right here, you know, no coin looks good, down 83% in 24 hours. Like, oof, 80%, 83%, 70% is a lot to drop in a day. Bonk still getting crushed. I guess community doesn't like Bonk moving to Ethereum. I don't know what kind of future Bonk really has at that point, right? Now let's talk about it. This, again, is really important to me, for me to stay on top of what counts as an institution, like what matters in this realm, in this narrative of institutions are here, people are building products for them, this is going to be a big deal, bank exposure. What actually counts as an institution is a great place to start, though, right? We say institutional money, but that's not like one single group. It's not like a government, right? It's not just one big thing. It can include anything from asset managers, hedge funds, pension funds, insurance companies, banks, registered investment advisors, family offices, corporate treasuries, market makers, and endowment and sovereign funds. These groups have different goals. A pension fund may seek long-term exposure. A market maker may remain almost neutral. The hedge fund may trade short-term momentum, and a corporation may hold Bitcoin as a treasury reserve. They might all be kind of technically institutional, but they all might be having a totally different strategy, a totally different time frame. They might have totally different view on what they're doing with that Bitcoin exposure. So we should never assume that every institution is making the same bet or on the same time frame. What an ETF inflow actually means: when the net new money enters a spot Bitcoin ETF, additional ETF shares may be created to meet demand. The fund structure ultimately requires corresponding Bitcoin exposure. That matters because it creates real demand connected to the underlying asset. You'll hear terms like trading paper and, people saying like, oh, an asset's not really worth that. It's just a bunch of paper trading. Well, with ETFs, the underlying, asset, you have to have exposure to it. And that is good because that means that market cap is going up for said asset. That's like, just hypothetically speaking, say you got an ETF for something that's like borderline a meme coin and it's really, really tiny, and institutions ran into it for whatever reason. This is purely just a metaphor, or an example, I should say. That asset market cap would go way up because there would be somebody buying the underlying asset. And that's important because there's a lot of things out there that don't require the underlying asset to actually be purchased, aka paper. But three numbers must remain separate: trading volume, how much ETF ownership changed hands; net flow, whether money entered or left the fund; and asset under management, total value held by the fund. High trading volume does not automatically mean new money has entered. It can just be money recycled. Asset under management can rise because Bitcoin price increased, even when the funds received no new capital, meaning the price of the asset went up. So that's like a new story all in itself. Like, they went from holding $100 million to now they hold $150 million worth of the asset. But that doesn't mean that they bought more of the asset. It just means that the asset could have appreciated, right? Net flow is the cleaner measurement of new money moving in or out of the product. And again, I thought this would be great because we do look a lot of times at that ETF over here on Blockworks. Shout out to Blockworks. Tons of data and information over here if you like to look at a bunch of inflows and outflows and just so many different data sets here, revenue for blockchain, everything like that. If you're into that kind of thing, this is a great website. Not trying to show you anything. I have no affiliate, none of that stuff, right? I don't even know if you can sign up or connect a wallet to this anyways. Melissa says, I have 2 small bags of Ondo. Oh, you got multiple bags of Ondo. I think I own Ondo on Coinbase, right? All right, let's take a look here. This is for the 20th, which is yesterday. And again, you can just see if it's down here, it's outflowing. And this is accumulative, right? So we can hit all, it gets rid of everything. Then hit just BTC. So now we only see BTC. You have a line in the middle. If it's under the line, more Bitcoin outflowed than inflowed, right? It was negative. So on the 14th of July was the last big outflow day. What is going on? The computer froze? Dang. Hopefully I didn't freeze. But it does seem like my computer just froze up. Or is it might be my mouse, actually. What to do? Use the backup mouse. Don't ask why I have a backup mouse just charged and ready to go. All right. So, yeah. On July 14th, you had 439 million outflow. And then you've seen 186, 100. So, 1, 2. So, yeah, you had about what outflowed inflow over the last 4 days. But it looks good. It looks like consistent inflow. And again, you get rid of the Bitcoin ETF, go look at like the XRP ETF, which was doing really good for quite some time. If you zoom out a little bit, you'll see a lot of inflow, very little outflow. But the numbers, of course, are not going to be as big as Bitcoin. On the 17th, it 7 million. And I'm just showing how you can kind of pick all kinds of different things here. Or you can just go back to all and have everything, and when you hover it over, it'll separate, right? So let's get back to our talking points. Just want to have that ETF up as we're talking a lot about institutions and ETFs. So persistence matters more than one big day. One strong inflow can come from a portfolio rebalancing, short-term traders, a temporary price opportunity, a large advisor making a claim and people running and buying, right? A market making adjustment, or more credible institutions' return usually creates things like several consecutive positive sessions, like the 4 days of inflows for Bitcoins and other ETFs that we just saw. Multiple positive weeks is even better than a couple of days of consecutive buys or inflows, right? Inflows positive, outflows negative. That should be pretty obvious. Buying during both rallies and pullbacks is very bullish. Continued demand despite uncertain headlines. And again, when the headlines in the news gets muddy, that's where you run to things like your chart and say, okay, they're saying all of this stuff, but we got 1, 2, 3, 4 consecutive days. Let's see if we get another one. Of course, you won't have today on there. That'll be on there tomorrow. I think they're like a day behind reporting on that kind of stuff. So 5 positive sessions are more meaningful than 1. Several positive weeks would be a stronger confirmation, especially if we're looking for something like the bottom. So compared to new inflows with previous outflows, right? Like we just did. I just showed like, hey, on the 17th, or maybe it was the 14th, but you saw that one day where we had like 423 million outflow in Bitcoin ETFs. And then you saw about that amount of money inflow, but broken up over 4 days. Can they be playing games? Maybe. Could be totally different players. We just don't know. You'd need a lot more data for that, right? So compare new inflows with the previous outflows to really figure out if more money has gone in the ETF or if it's just kind of gone out and in and out and in, right? Almost like you would think of maybe wash trading. If you're just rolling in, smash that like button. Recent ETF demand is improving rapidly. The latest 5-day run reportedly brought approximately 727 million into Bitcoin ETFs. And we're back to inflowing into Bitcoin ETFs for a while there. I want to look at this. We had a lot of talk and a lot of look at Ethereum ETF. Right? Wow, a lot of outflows though, I gotta say. But we have had some good inflows, right? But how big? So you had this big one, 70 million, and then immediately followed by 50 million. So then the next day you had 17 and then 12. So what's left, right? You can kind of do the math in your head. But we have seen some decent inflows recently for the Ethereum ETF. So, however, the preceding 8-week outflow streak removed more than 8 billion from the ETF, the Bitcoin ETF. Before Monday's larger addition, the first 2 positive weeks had recovered only about 273 million, which is nothing compared to the 8 billion. So we're not really back to the place where we're tipping the scale. The direction has improved. The pace is accelerated, and the earlier damage has not been recovered, though. Again, this is how we make sense of it. In my opinion, this is how you raise your crypto IQ, regardless of what the headlines are saying. The direction has improved. It looks good. The pace of the buying and inflowing into the Bitcoin ETF has accelerated. But if you zoom out, you see that the earlier damage of $8 billion being sold outflowing out of the ETF has not been recovered, nowhere near recovered. So this is a developing positive signal. Not yet proof of a complete institutional reversal. Yesterday we talked very much about proof of trend changes, right? And this is a good example of going back to that idea. As you can see, we got some bullishness going here, but we haven't signaled a recovery. Like, we haven't recovered that $8 billion that outflowed. So breadth reveals the quality of demand. Suppose the entire ETF category reports positive inflows, but nearly all the money entered just one BlackRock product or one institution. It still creates demand, but it narrows and is narrower, I should say, than several independent funds receiving capital. It'd be much better that all of them were buying a little bit than having one buying a ton. Now, could BlackRock running in and buying a huge amount and consistently, maybe for a couple of days buying a huge amount, maybe get the attention of other institutions? It could turn out to be a front runner or a very bullish thing, but before you see that, it's still just one player buying a lot. So did BlackRock attract money? Did Fidelity participate in this? Did ARK participate? You get the idea. Did other ones come in? Did outflows continue elsewhere? Did Ethereum products also benefit, right? Did there a flow of money into other products in crypto, or is it just Bitcoin? Are advisors spreading allocation across the product? Broad participation suggests a larger change in investor behavior. Concentrated participation may depend on one fund, one client, or one strategy. Institutions can buy without being bullish, right? Imagine a fund buys 100 million of Bitcoin ETF and shorts approximately 100 million of Bitcoin futures. The ETF records an inflow. However, the fund's overall Bitcoin price exposure may be close to neutral. Why do they do this? Capture a future premium. They exploit differences between the market, like they're market creating, right? They're almost like making their own dynamic that they want to take advantage of, providing liquidity, hedge another crypto position, and complete an arbitrage strategy. So ETF inflows still matter, but they should be combined with futures positioning, funding rates, and open interest before we describe every dollar as a bullish conversion. Wall Street adoption is broader than ETF buying. Traditional financial institutions are expanding their involvement beyond purchasing Bitcoin. Morgan Stanley's E-Trade, right, recently began allowing eligible customers, right, you got to be eligible in this traditional finance world, to trade Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana through a linked account. Citadel Securities also invested $400 million in Crypto.com. That was actually really recent, at a reported $20 billion valuation. That investment represents a bet on crypto trading infrastructure and financial rails, not simply a directional bet on Bitcoin's price alone, right? And they make a lot of money off of the fees. The rails are important. If you own the rails, you make the fees. Kind of like when they built the railroad throughout America and everywhere else. Well, you had to pay to get on the train. Who do you think's collecting all the money? The people who own the rails and built them, right? So what I want to say is I think it was an interesting move. Crypto.com had not really seemed like it had really done much or entered the race. Seems like Citadel looked at them and said, hey, we want to put you on the map. Here's 400 million. Give us a great cut. This creates an important distinction. Buying Bitcoin is an asset bet. Launching crypto access is a customer bet. Investing in an exchange is an infrastructure bet. And developing tokenization is a financial rails bet. I got to read that again because for my hardcore undergrounders out here who are really paying attention, this is super important. Buying Bitcoin is a bet on the asset itself, right? Launching a crypto access, right? Launching crypto access like Citadel buying 400 million in Crypto.com is a bet. Or sorry, that's the next one here. I misspoke. Let me correct that there. Launching crypto access is a customer demand bet that customers will demand access, right? Investing in an exchange is Citadel buying into Crypto.com is an infrastructure bet, and developing tokenization is a financial rails bet. All represent institutional adoption though. but only some create immediate Bitcoin buying pressure. Think about that. If they're taking an investment in exchange or a developing tokenization, that's not the same as them buying Bitcoin, right? Or launching crypto access so customers can buy Bitcoin. The first two here actually translate to money into the market cap of a coin much faster. Price response shows whether real demand is powerful enough. So even genuine ETF inflows do not guarantee that Bitcoin rises. New institutional demand can be absorbed by long-term holders selling, right? You get a price pump and people sell off because they're up. Miners selling is a big one. Corporate treasuries reducing exposure. You got to imagine miners when they're mining and maybe they're not positive on their mined coin, Bitcoin usually. When they do get into a place where they're in profits, they usually take profit. Traders taking profits, distressed funds liquidating, large holders distributing into strength. And if miners have been mining, I think, negative for some time, and we get a pump, they might be the ones selling hard to recuperate the money that they've spent. They got to pay their bills. That electricity ain't cheap. And that could be sometimes why we get pulled back on real hard after a nice pump. If major inflows arrive and Bitcoin barely moves, that means substantial supply is waiting above the market. Again, if major inflows arrive and Bitcoin barely moves, that means substantial supply is waiting above the market. If inflows continue and Bitcoin holds higher levels after pullbacks, the institutional demand is having a stronger structural effect. The question is not merely whether money entered, right? It's whether the money changed the market's behavior. Did the market take notice? Did it matter? Sentiment, attention economy, these things are very important. A chart being a representation of emotion. That's a good way to think of it versus getting over analytical about, price points and things like that. Watch actions more than the announcements, right? More than the news, look at the inflows. That's what we're saying here. More than what's trending about this or that, actually look at the inflows of the ETF. You can do that at Blockworks and many other places. So an institution saying it's exploring crypto is actually really weak evidence. Stronger evidence would include things like a funded ETF position, a disclosed treasury allocation, putting their money where their mouth is, a live customer trading product, an operational custody service, a completed infrastructure investment, and repeated purchase over several reporting periods. Announcements measure interest. Capital deployment measures commitment. So the difference between a little bit of interest in something and they're going in and they're deploying capital. Tuesday's verdict here, institutional demand is returning, but it has not yet returned at full strength, right? We've seen some inflows to ETFs, but we haven't seen the $8 billion that left return. That's what we really need. Consecutive weeks of inflows, probably 2, 3, 4 weeks to get anywhere near those numbers. 5 consecutive Bitcoin ETF inflow days. This is the positive evidence that we have right now. Approximately 727 million entering during the run. Ethereum ETF also attracting capital. That's good money flowing through other altcoins or into altcoins. Bitcoin recovering that 66,000 number. E-Trade expanding into direct crypto access, and Citadel securing investments in crypto.com. Reasons for caution, though. This is even more important than our bullish reasons, right? More than 8 billion exited during the preceding 8 weeks. Some buyers remain concentrated. ETF holders are not exclusively institutions. Remember that. They could be people with big money. Institutional positions can be hedged. Infrastructure investments does not equal Bitcoin accumulation, and a longer multi-week trend is still very much needed. The institutional signal moves from weak to improving, but not yet confirmed. Now, again, I think that that's all highly important. What did you guys think? Who's all here with me? Drink some drink real quick. And we ran through that rather fast. Very, very surprising. We'll take the edge off real quick from all of that IQ raising event. I hope it found you well. Let's sell some chainers, or let's do some chainers and get some free BNB as we continue to stack some free BNB over here. Link in the description if you'd like to try out some chainers. If you're used to Web3, then you understand the idea of like a farm or farming in Web3. Yield, basically, usually staking or providing to a liquidity pool, something of that nature to get some yield, right? To earn some, put your money to work and earn some money is basically what we're saying here. And this is a very interesting way of showing that, of doing that, right? Although it is slightly different because you can get into this for free and not necessarily have to put any money in. Which could be problematic if people aren't buying. So we go to the little stand. We pick BNB. There's 3 different assets you can choose from here. We go all of them. Everything we've grown recently. And we sell the harvest. It sells in like 2-3 hour distribution batches, right? So you got to wait on it. And then when this thing goes away, you can see what we stack so far is 0.0046 BNB. Let's go to the city map and collect our daily rewards here. There's a little bit more to it than just that farm. 333 Chris Goss, welcome in, welcome in. Get some fertilizer, which I need really bad. Interesting game dynamics where I have tons of like legendary fertilizer, and what I really need to upgrade stuff is just common fertilizer. So let's see, we just got some rewards here. What do we get? They are NFTs. It says minting NFTs. CFB in-game currency, right? Weekly. Got another little pack here for putting 300 products in the pool. So you have little like quests, missions. Let's see what we got. Ooh, a broccoli seed. I'll take that all day. Now let's claim it. Looks like it was a little slow to mint on chain. Let's go to the shop because I'm kind of hunting for something really specific. I need corn. And they keep making it difficult. There it is. But I need the corn to be in the CFB currency, not in Tether. So I don't have any Tether over here in this wallet. Okay, maybe we go to all seeds. Show them all. Usually they're side by side if they have both. I don't know why they're gatekeeping this corn so hard. But I digress. And then they have a mini game where you can just get a free item. You got your Atom Caster, which is just a simple free item, basically. You just click start, and it gives it to you instantly here. Wow, it says there's 4 people here. That's wild. All right, and then we're going to roll into the mini game real quick. Oh, now it says there's 8. YouTube, the numbers just be like fluctuate. I know that, like, 13 people and then 4 and then back to 8. It's got to be the reporting. I doubt that many people float in, float out of the stream. Let's get this free item, and then we're going to launch that members only live stream. We have been cooking over on pump.fun a lot. If you want to check that out and kind of see what that's like, I'll basically be doing a little bit of that on the members only live stream. I figure it's a nice place for us to all kind of hang out live versus in our little chat group. And I may be, talking more about it as time goes on here, but I don't really want to turn this channel into like directly just like pump.fun. because we do want to raise that crypto IQ. Although people on pump.fun, obviously not saying all of them, but a lot of them might need some more generalized crypto knowledge. Even though I don't know if that necessarily helps them for what they're doing on pump.fun. Just an advocator that if you like crypto, you should know more than meme coins. Maybe understand how a blockchain works a little bit. Just trying to get to 1,000 here. Luckily, this never takes very long. Get my free item. And we're almost there. I wish the game would pick up like this from the very get-go. Starts a little slow in my opinion. And there we are. Boom. I didn't look. Sometimes getting to a certain amount is actually one of the things they want you to do for the quests. Didn't really look at that. And you can only play this once every 24 hours. Otherwise, you got to actually pay. Probably because they're actually giving you something for the farm. Otherwise, you would just stack like crazy items for your farm. Alright, I had a little bit of fun there crashing out. We'll let them take us out, see what we get. And I'm going to set the members only stream into motion here. Alright, if you want to come hang out with us in the members only live stream, it'll start in 5 minutes. And we'll be doing some different things over there. So come on over. Let's check out what I got here. What did I get? Striker Heart says thanks again. Absolutely, man. Again, don't forget to reach out and get your free crypto money that you earned. Pineapple seeds. I did not have pineapple seeds yet. Let's get it. See, that worked out as positive to me because I did not have any of those. And back to the farm. And we have many other games rocking here. Let's go play one of our favorite mini games here. Oh wait, that was completely the wrong place. Go to the Festival of Colors. This is Sunflower Land. I keep wanting to call it Maple Story. I don't know why. Maybe it reminds me of it or something. Let's go. I love how they basically copied the idea of Mattel, but they just made it way better. What do I want here? Oh, the tomato for sure. Alright. I think we gotta go with damage. Like, as much as I really would rather have some speed. I love how the tomato just bounces from thing to thing. Let's go corn bombs. Get that XP. Ooh, watering can is nice. Ooh, I should have gone with a beehive, though. You can see the health and the XP bar up here in the corner. I really hope they keep this game. If they get rid of this game after a while, I'm going to be sad. This should be a staple because they built so many little mini games to play now. These mini games are actually fire. There we go. Get some of this XP. Let's go get some upgrades going. Let's hit that overall damage. And we want that tomato cooking there. Again, if you get cut off in the middle of this, we are moving over to the members only live stream. Well, we're going to get into all kinds of different stuff. Do a little bit of trenching and looking at those kind of coins. I'm going to deep dive anything the community shows up and wants to know about. I'm going to probably look at that Gnosis coin we were looking at the other day. I think that thing's highly important to keep an eye on. And then, of course, I'm going to probably play some crypto slots with free money that they gave me. That's right. You can get free money to play slots and have the opportunity to earn money. I've hit hundreds and hundreds of dollars over the lifetime of playing on those different exchanges, literally thousands of dollars. Or probably like $1,500 or so, but just on straight free money. Way, way, way more than I ever spent. Let's see, can we get like some actual damage here? I guess not. I need all this, so I'm taking the risk getting health. If only there was a way to get some health here, I think that would be highly important. Dang. I wish they didn't spawn like right in your face. And the map didn't corner you so hard here. Oh yeah, getting cooked. Done. And that's a wrap. 33 seconds and we're rolling over to that members only live stream. Tonight's stream did go really quick. We usually stream for like 2 hours, sometimes 4. I'm a big fan of kind of doing whatever the stream calls for. That seems to be what it called for. And we're not done. We're just moving over to the members only live stream. So come join us. You got 13 seconds to come over or maybe buy a membership, whatever you want to do. Look at all these items they got. Let's see if I want to buy anything here. Why can't I buy this?